Over here, over here, over here.
Enemies ahead!
One here, one here, one here. One here, close. Oh shit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh shit, seven people here. 7.
Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead!
One here, one here.
Enemies ahead!
And one here, one here, one here.
Enemies ahead!
He's running, he's running, he's running.
Enemies ahead!
He's in this house, in this
Enemies
house.
ahead!
And one in this house.
Enemies ahead!
In here,
Enemies ahead!
and in here.
Enemies ahead!
Oh, I see him, he's here, he's here.
Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead!
Here? Yeah, people by school too. People by school. Oh, one here, one here, one here.
Enemies ahead!
Behind house, behind house. He's here, he's here. He's here, he's here.
Enemies ahead!
Okay. People here, people here.
Enemies ahead!
Al enemy, al enemy. Cuatro enemy.
Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead!
Oh, I see, I see, I see. Come.
Enemies ahead!
Two here. Those.
Enemies
Those.
ahead!
Oh shit. Okay, I come, I come. One over here, one over here, over here.
Enemies ahead!
Amigo, over here, over here.
Enemies ahead!
Doors.
Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead!
One over here, one over here.
Enemies ahead!
One over here too, one over here.
Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead!
Enemy, enemy.
Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead.
Tres, enemy, tres. Enemy, enemy,
Enemies
enemy, enemy.
ahead.
Amigo, el enemy, el enemy.
Enemies ahead.
Cuatro, enemy, cuatro, cuatro.
Enemies ahead.
Cuatro, cuatro. Can you hear
Enemies
me?
ahead. Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead.
He's here, he's here.
Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead. Let's go.
El enemy, el enemy.
Enemies ahead.
Enemy, enemy, enemy.
Enemies ahead.
Those enemy. Those enemy. Those.
Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead.
Those, two enemy. Behind wall, over here.
Enemies ahead.
And one over here.
Enemies ahead.
And one over here.
Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead.
One over here.
Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead.
And one over here.
Enemies ahead.
And one over here.
Enemies ahead.
Two over here.
Enemies ahead.
And one over here.
Enemies ahead.
And one over here.
Enemies ahead. Help!
Take this, amigo. One over here, amigo. One over here.
Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead. Enemies ahead.
Enemy, enemy, enemy.
Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead!
الانمي.
Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead! Enemies ahead!
ولا الانمي.
Toreada.
Ese fue.
Tú vienes por acá ya.
Sí.
Acá hay una karma.
La pendeja se llama.
Avanzas. Viene uno por acá. Uno abajo. Bien abajo uno. Abajo. Cuidado, che.
Ahí está. Uy, ¿cómo me disparó? Ahí está, ahí abajo, está abajo. Bien. Cúrame. Murió Gonzalo.
No,
Ay, tírame una curita, tírame una curita. Un tiro. Vámonos en el carro ahorita, lutealo.
yo looteo a los que matemos. Lootea arriba, acá arriba hay una cara.
Tengo miedo que me reporten.
¿Por qué?
No, pero igual yo no utilizaba. Gracias, no.
Cogiste la cara. Arriba, en el cuartito de ahí.
Anda a ver el carro, anda a ver el carro.
¿Dónde está el carro?
Allá donde siempre estás.
Ah, no, que acá había un carro, aguanta. Vente, vente, chino, vente, vente. Vente, que quiero hacer una llamada.
Por ahí, por ahí, por ahí, por ahí.
¿Qué no tienes botiquín?
Ay,
Trepa, pues.
no me coge el internet.